Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this postmortem video of a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 19. And this was a really quick, short game. I was playing the Sicilian defense, and let's see what happened. There's no real need for an opening book here because my opponent on his second move plays c4, which is a pretty unusual line, and the opening book was not very informative about this line. So what this does, it tries to clamp down on my d5 square, but at the same time it creates a hole here on d4. So the play in the early stages is going to revolve around these two. So I just proceed with my normal plan, which is to put a knight here, put a bishop here, and these guys are both targeting the d4 square. White can follow up with a similar strategy targeting the d5 square. Although what's different is that I always have this option to play e6, so I can actually kick a piece out of that square, whereas I get to occupy d4 in this scenario because his pawns have gone past. The two pawns that might guard that square have already stepped past it, so it's left to hold there in this position. I did look at this with the computer, and the computer thinks it's pretty even, maybe a slight edge to black. And these are just normal developing moves we're going to get fairly quickly. I maybe am playing a bit slowly here with the moves like a6. There's probably more aggressive things. But this f4 here was probably a weakening move. It leaves these holes in his position. And I can occupy that with good effect. And I go there immediately with my bishop, setting up this pin and trying to put pressure. He attacks the bishop, and I don't want to retreat it. I think I'm planning to get rid of this knight and then come here with the tempo. But he takes back with the knight. I didn't really calculate this out correctly when I was playing this live. I should have realized that was a possibility. So now the knight is still guarding the square, and I don't want to just put a knight there and have it traded off immediately. So I think of another plan. And this square here, once h3 was played to kick my bishop, it weakened the g3 square. So that needs protection by a piece. And so this knight is doing two different jobs here. It's protecting this square and it's protecting this square. And so I try to take advantage of that by attacking with this knight, playing knight to h5. And here he just plays rook b1. He's sort of ignoring my my play, and then I play knight d4. So that's the idea. The knight has to kind of choose which way it's going to go. And if he does nothing, I have this threat of taking the knight. Queen takes back. Oh, let's cancel that. That was a mistake. Taking his knight, the queen takes back, and then my knight comes to g3 here, and it'll fork the rook and the queen. So he has to do something about that. I looked at it with the computer, and the computer suggested king h2 is a defensive move. And then it still thinks the game is even. So the decisive mistake really is the next move. He plays g4, trying to kick my knight. And so this is the thing about chess is you don't always have to respond to your opponent's threats if you can find something that's a bigger threat. And in fact, if you look at the games of stronger players, you'll see this pattern repeated over and over again. One of their pieces is attacked, and instead of just routinely moving that piece away to a safe square, they'll do something else, make a bigger threat, attack something else, and they'll try to keep their pieces in active squares as much as possible. If you just retreat every time a piece is threatened, then you just end up at a very passive position. All your pieces get pushed back, and your opponent's greater activity should lead to a win. So whenever your pieces are getting pushed around, what you should be thinking about is how can I push back? Not where do I retreat to, but how can I push back? And here I have a very nice move here. Knight takes e2. So I just leave this knight here hanging. Knight takes e2 is with a check, so he can't even do anything about it. And the only piece that can take that knight, if he just moves the king, he's lost a piece pretty much. But yeah, because I can play knight g3 and defend that knight. So if he takes the knight, which is what he played in the game, then I can play this knight g3 move, which I was planning to play earlier, and that forks these two pieces. So this is a winning position for me. The other instructive thing about this is that this is a weak square. This G3 square is weak, and you might think a weakness is a pawn that's unprotected, but if you look ahead a few moves, you see this square G3, it's still a weak square. And the fact that this is not defended is what makes that a weakness. And because that's a weak square, I can just place my knight there. And now the best thing for white is to move the queen away, perhaps to back to D1 or maybe D3, but pretty much anywhere except where he played it, queen F2, because that sets up another tactic, which is this skewer here. So, wrong arrow. This one here. So, a pin rather. This pins the queen against the king and pretty much ends the game. My opponent resigns here, and so interesting game. That's kind of the way chess goes. You have to look for those mistakes by your opponent and find the way to take advantage of them. And you know, not all games are so easy. You know, this was made simple by my opponent making a few mistakes, and but at the same time, you always have to be alert for those mistakes and ready to respond when they happen on the board, because they will happen. You're not playing masters or computers. You're playing other humans, and they make mistakes at every level. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you have any comments, leave them in the section below, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.